Karibu. Welcome to Imagine Nairobi Show with me, Senator Steve Minor. And if you've been in Kenya for the last several months, the country has been on edge, wanting to know whether are we headed in the right direction politically. Now, the results are out, and today here we are going to discuss whether are we deluded? Were we deluded? Or is the data the data? Is the data representative of how we are as a country and how our political thought processes are? And with us here to give us a clearer lens, a clearer picture of how we are doing as a country politically is none other than Owen Benjamin, a seasoned journalist. Karibu sana Benjamin to Imagine Nairobi Show.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes.
You must be doing some good work.
We are always doing a great job.
Yeah.
Na tukasema,
Yeah.
we have been waiting
Exactly.
for the scorecard.
Yes.
Tujue mbivu na mbichi.
Yes.
Because so far, the rhetoric online imekuwa, we have changed.
Yes.
It's a new renaissance.
Yes.
But tukiangalia matokeo ya by-elections, sijui labda give us maybe your opinion na election. Kulikuwa na lot of kulikuwa na senator, there was senatorial elections, kulikuwa na member of parliament, walikuwa wengi sana, na even more than that kulikuwa na ward level, where there were about 17 seats.
Exactly.
So kwa uchambuzi wako, vile umekuwa ukiona, help us understand what wa Nairobi wote. What have you seen? Umeona nini wewe? Have we changed? Ama tuko pale?
Okay, generally I would say this. For instance, in the by-elections we've had, winners and losers.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
And the side that was struggling to show that perception of victory was definitely the united opposition.
Opposition. Umesema united opposition.
Yes, the by-elections were definitely for the united opposition. To prove to Kenyans that, we have the government in waiting. But looking at the results, things did not go well on their side. And I argue it this way. When we were preparing for these by-elections, I used to tell people, people should just focus on two by-elections.
Two by-elections.
Yes.
Gani na gani?
The one in Central Kenya, and in Central Kenya we only had a by-election in Mbeere North.
Mbeere North with Newton Karish and Wamudhende.
Yes. And then Western Kenya. Okay, because that is a very significant voting block, especially in 2027.
Yes.
And in Western Kenya, I say this, just focus on Malava constituency. Now, Malava constituency is in Kakamega.
Hiyo ilikuwa moto.
It was
hot.
What the united opposition had to do was just to prove to people.
Yes.
By winning Mbeere North.
Yes.
And Malava constituency.
Yes.
Okay? Because when you look at these other by-elections, like, the one in Baringo, that one, there was no argument. I know there was some young guy there, but I knew that
Samuel Letasio.
Yeah.
Very young guy.
I knew UDA was going to win.
Lakini wewe ngoja. Unajua unasema kulikuwa na Yanga na pale katika ile discourse tumekuwa tukiona online. Ni ya kwamba the youth ilikuwa this was time for the youth. How come the youth pale ule Letasio pale hata amkumpea kitu?
You know what? I've been very, very, very clear in my argument.
Yes.
When people start talking about change and all that, and I was like, what kind of change are you people talking about? Okay. For me, this is how I've been looking at it. Number one, I understand young people went to the streets last year.
Of course.
And also this year. They had issues, okay? For the first protest, when you talk about the finance bill and all that, the reaction from young people, I would say it was emotional. That's how I look at it.
Yes.
Because there was mobilization online.
Yes.
So I can say it was like a knee-jerk reaction. That, what people... the government has increased taxes because of ABCD, so our lives are going to be so terrible. So we need to take an action. And also, when you look at it this way, people were frustrated, the cost of living and all that. So there was too much frustration, too much desperation, and here again, we have too much frustration,
yes,
too much desperation. Young people are jobless and all that. And the conversation about high taxes has been ongoing. And here again now is a finance bill that sought to increase taxes.
Yes.
And there's mobilization online.
Yes.
So eventually what do you have?
Exactly
that
situation.
knee-jerk reaction. So people mobilized and all that and went to the streets. But in all that, people didn't really sit down. People protested and all that. Now, after that, we got ourselves into a situation where we were like, we should recover, because as Kenyans, that's not what we are. You may have issues here and there, but we shouldn't put our country, on the precipice of collapse. So from there, we started a conversation of healing and all that.
Yes.
And finally, we had the opposition and the government coming together. There was a conversation, let's heal the country, let's save the country. So finally, we got ourselves into 2025, especially June, where there was supposed to be an anniversary.
And I want to maybe add on top of that the opposition you're talking about, you're referring to in this scenario, is the one which is led by ODM.
That is it. So especially now Raila, in that case we can say Raila was actually the face of the opposition during that time. So because the country was in a situation where if an action wasn't taken, we would have found ourselves in a position where we wouldn't
Somalia and Sudan
really thought that at some point we would find ourselves. So finally Raila and Ruto started working together. There was some sort of like healing and all that. But here came an anniversary, where people wanted to commemorate what happened on June 25th. 2025. I mean 2024. Although it was bloody. And then there was more anger. And also came Sabasaba. There was much anger. And during that time, people were definitely ready for change. And people were pushing for change on emotional grounds. I wouldn't say that people did not have issues. Definitely there were contentious issues. Because there was the issue of cost of living and all that. And President Ruto definitely had promised Kenyans that we are going to do ABCD. So people expected a turnaround, but things were not working out. So in all that, young people were frustrated and their reaction was definitely emotional. And the mainstream media, to some extent, took that also as an advantage, where now you whip more emotions and all that. When you see a headline here, screaming, time for change and all that.
Time has come.
And many commentators online and all that, that, this is the worst government and all that, we want change and all that. So that continued to whip emotions. But people did not really sit down to try to rationalize the situation. Because, I've been in a position where I've written about Kenya's economy and all that. In my understanding, I know the next government would definitely have issues, because here you're dealing with a huge public debt, and at the same time you're dealing with a populace or a population that wants, that quick change and have a better life and all that. And at the same time you are reeling from COVID-19. People should remember this. Even in 2022, still the economic effect of
even under Uhuru's rule,
it was there. And in fact, until now, the effects of COVID-19, countries are still facing.
Yes.
So expecting that change so quickly, number one, it was on the minds of many Kenyans. But now, in actuality, was the next government able to just turn around things? It was going to be difficult.
Yes.
And also, what people did not know, or young people did not rationalize or accept the fact that we had a debt obligation, and those debts were coming at a point when we have a new, the repayment of these debts, okay, at a point where we have a new government that had overpromised and all that. So nobody was willing like to listen, okay?
Yes.
So eventually people were swallowed up, okay? People were swallowed up and started talking about change and all that, okay?
Yes.
So what I ended up saying was, as I mentioned, the mainstream media took that as an advantage and whipped more emotions. So eventually we had people being so emotional, okay? And as I mentioned, in most cases, what happens is that when people sort of put themselves in a situation where they're like, we are here for change.
Yes.
Okay? So the media will always capture the emotions because that is the currency.
For the news,
Yeah, that is the currency.
Yes.
And definitely emotions win headlines.
For sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
But for how long would that continue? We had Raila and Ruto working together. And that was a master stroke in the sense, because Raila has supporters.
Yes.
And Raila says, let's pursue what?
Let's pursue reconciliation. Yes.
And all that.
Yes.
Okay? So for the united opposition, now that was, because now for Raila got into government, so meaning Raila left the opposition, Raila and his
representing the opposition at that time,
And finally we have broad-based government and all that. And on this side, we have the united opposition.
Yes.
And because people were emotional, okay, so the WANTAM chant or sloganeering and all that
was gaining a lot of traction.
Gained traction.
Yes.
And it made a lot of sense during that time.
Yes.
And to be honest, if an election
was
conducted during that time, especially presidential election,
yes,
I would say President Ruto would have lost.
Will have been ousted.
Yeah. But this is what I said, guys. President Ruto was democratically elected.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And people were not happy with his government. You being disillusioned or unhappy with the government is not a constitution, is not
a basis for
that constitutional parameter of getting the president out.
It's not a metric in itself to get the president out.
Someone has not delivered.
Yes, somebody, you have opinions on.
There's a social contract here. President Ruto with the Kenyans signed a contract that I'll be president for
the next 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
Then later, if you people believe that I did not do, you can constitutionally get me. So finally, what happened was that Raila and Ruto started working together.
Yes.
The united opposition, as I mentioned, started the one-term chant or slogan and all that, which was
Tawe movement.
And all that. And on this side also, President Ruto, after the handshake, there's something called redemption arc. Okay, that at some point you can be called this villain and all that.
Yes.
But at some point you can redeem yourself. Okay, so broad-based government was one way of President Ruto redeeming himself and saying, okay, I understand that we have divergent opinions and all that, but what is important is keeping Kenya intact, keeping Kenya harmonious or peaceful and orderly and all that.
He changed the narrative to from
so there was a change of narrative.
Yes.
And when that change of narrative was started, from there, what do you see? Young people also started now to rationalize issues, okay?
Yes.
That it is true, we went to the streets and all that. And then were the protests organic? Okay?
Yeah.
Just because Ruto and Raila are working, people started saying, no, perhaps the protests were
sponsored.
Were sponsored.
Yeah.
And all that. And also on the side of young people, they didn't really put forward concrete issues.
There was no like a strong philosophical underpinning.
Yes, there was no strong philosophical underpinning, because this is how I argued. Even when people were protesting, I said this. I would have been so happy if people said this. We are going to the streets, not just because of taxes, because of corruption. Mr. President, we want to understand your plan to fight corruption, okay? Like corruption, when you concretize or when you put issues in such a way that, number one, it is corruption, okay?
Crystallize them, yeah.
Yeah, it is corruption. Number two, the issue of taxes. So
Yeah,
that the president also
overtaxation.
has an argument. Okay, we are increasing taxes
Because of this and this and
ABCD.
this. Yeah.
People can sit down and have that kind of argument. So that when taxes are increased, people also understand what is the logical driving point.
Yes.
Okay? When people understand that, and maybe people say, okay, Mr. President, you're overtaxing us.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But we also have corruption here.
Yes.
And the president commits to fighting corruption. And also, people missed out what was the role of parliament, because if there's an issue, I usually say is that, people sometimes think that this government is just run by the president, which is not the case, because constitutionally our parliament is so strong. But people usually just look at the presidency.
But hasn't that been the case, like the executive overreach, even in matters of like parliamentary, whereby you find that there are allegations whereby the executive pressures the parliamentarians into passing several certain bills?
But you see,
isn't that true in our country?
there could be executive overreach.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And in most cases, when we have such, it means that the members of parliament we have is just the rubber stamp of the executive.
Yes.
So that should also go back to how did people elect their members of parliament, right? Because constitutionally, the president is supposed to some extent work with members of parliament, especially those who are elected, like for instance,
yes,
UDA,
democratically elected, yeah.
Okay, we have UDA members of parliament.
Yes.
Basically, the president has to sit down with them and
Yeah.
convince them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the very member of parliament is supposed to be logical enough, to be
Yes, to
independent
take a
enough,
stand,
okay, and decide, okay, Mr. President, you've persuaded me to take this route, but my conscience doesn't allow me to
It
take
is.
that route.
Is it that in the interest
Yeah.
of the people or not?
So meaning that also should take us back to understand what members of parliament did you people elect.
Yes.
Now, let me say this. So I was actually just giving the background, okay?
Yes.
So the one term. And here President Ruto was going through the stages of redemption arc, redeeming himself,
Yes.
and all that,
Yes.
okay? Unfortunately, Raila here passes on the opposition or internal wrangles, in the opposition. They have internal wrangles, and then they have hubris, this overconfidence that, Kenyans are with us and all that.
And in the absence of Raila, this will be an easy victory for the united opposition now.
Yeah, without understanding that President Ruto has been making forays. President Ruto has been talking to people, and President Ruto already, despite the challenges that were brought about by protests and all that,
Yes.
President Ruto is now pursuing, reconciliation and all that. He's talking to people and all that. Okay, so eventually, what did you see? Even the one-term chant started going down and all that. But now, when you go online, okay, you would still see that energy that President Ruto is one term and all that. Okay, that is purely, for Nairobi. Nairobi people spend a lot of time online.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
usually there was that frustration.
The discourse
too much
around
frustration
yes.
was online. But what people should always understand is that politics is at the grassroots.
It's a conversion game.
Exactly. Okay. So President Ruto knew that there are weaknesses, and here President Ruto has already signed an agreement or an MOU with Raila, okay, telling people mistakes were made and all that.
Yeah.
But right now we are seeking reconciliation, okay?
Yeah.
And generally, if you listen to President Ruto, there was a conciliatory tone,
yeah.
okay, and that was persuasive. That was making sense. Okay, and emotion.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. Yeah.
And the emotions that were driving people,
Yes.
to the streets and all that was sort of like
subsided.
finishing,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
they were going down. So from there, people started now, trying to rationalize issues, and here President Ruto is pursuing reconciliation and all that.
Yes.
Raila,
the temperatures came down.
Yeah, when Raila was also alive, Raila and his brigades were still talking to people that we need to save our country.
Yes.
And all that.
Yeah.
So finally, we found ourselves in a plain level ground. Okay. We are now the united opposition. And the president, President Ruto became now confident.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That, okay, people, as much as there was war and all that, I still have a voice.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So, the united opposition, okay, they handled the issue of, tickets and all that, zoning and all that, okay, which was sensible and it was strategic. But what these people forgot was the fact that President Ruto comes with various advantages here. Incumbency,
yeah.
And also political loyalty. There are people who are loyal to President Ruto.
Absolutely.
So, when all that happened, when we went into the by-election, okay, people had already started forgiving President Ruto, embracing him, and President Ruto was talking about development and all that.
The narrative, he had shifted the narrative from
the
WANTAM rhetoric to
now
let us look at the
here
development.
He's talking about moving Kenya to, or transitioning Kenya to a first world country. There was a conversation about Malaysia, Singapore. People were asking big questions.
Yes.
South Korea, at some point we were at par economically with South Korea.
Even Singapore, we were lenders to Singapore.
So when you heard that, the conversation was changing. That we have to unite and take Kenya to the next level. Okay.
Yeah.
So when that narrative changed, one time for sure, you'd rarely, if you walked on any street, you'd rarely hear people mention even the word or the chant WANTAM.
Yeah.
The WANTAM chant was gone because the challenge the united opposition had was to sustain this WANTAM chant. Okay. Now, so the opposition has been unable to sustain that WANTAM chant to up until 2027.
So philosophically, you are saying the united opposition was caught with their pants down because the philosophical underpinning behind what they are opposing was misguided by just reducing it to just a chant, a sloganeering.
A chant, because they were riding on the Gen Z protests.
They were beneficiaries of the...
beneficiaries. But they did not really give the concrete plan of saving Kenya and making Kenya... it was like based on, like, they are better. It wasn't based on that, okay? Like a better government.
A better government, better systems, better leadership, better...
They were just riding on the frustration, desperation, the anger of young people. And that the anger and frustrations, emotional.
Yeah.
Okay, those were emotions.
Yes.
But you see now the emotions have gone down despite the government failures we are seeing.
Yes, yes.
So finally, President Ruto was changing the narrative, and if you went even online, there were people who said, perhaps we misjudged President Ruto. Okay? You must have seen that.
The discourse was changing a little.
Yeah, the discourse was changing. And also people were saying, by the way, what did we really go to the streets to protest? Okay? People were asking such questions. Do we really rationalize issues before we went to the streets? Okay? And all that. And did we really give President Ruto enough time? And let me say this. I am not President Ruto's apologist. Okay? But I'm just trying to look at these objectively.
We look at the data here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay? So finally, we walked into a by-election. And I remember people saying that, ODM is done and all that. And I said, people, look, UDA is actually in power, okay? ODM is working with President Ruto.
Is in power now.
And ODM has party structures. And this is Kenya's strongest and longest political party. Okay.
Currently, we have Kanu, but he's been dead for a long time.
Strong.
Yes.
You get that.
Yes.
So for 20 years. So you're not going just to...
For the last 20 years.
You're not just going to dismiss a party that has been there for all those years, a
Yeah.
party with the structures, a party with the supporters across the
The country, yeah.
just because people protested. Because I said, can you rationalize? I remember people saying, dismissing me online, you don't understand what is happening. But I said, be objective enough.
Yes.
Okay? So ODM and UDM, they're Kenya's strongest political parties.
Evidently.
Okay?
From the data, yeah.
So people saying that ODM was losing traction and all that. And I said, you know what? Wait for this by-election. And we've seen what happened. ODM
Absolutely.
did not lose ODM did not lose Kasipul.
Yes.
ODM did not lose Ugunja.
Yes.
ODM did not lose Magarin.
Magarin, yeah.
Okay, I know there was also political zoning.
Yeah,
UDA
yes,
okay.
yes. But they retained, before winning, they also retained what was theirs.
Okay. So, and those very people who are saying that ODM has lost it, didn't look at it objectively, or they didn't take that broad. They didn't insert that broader view of how you look at things. They didn't they looked at it so narrowly and avoided
from a macro perspective.
Exactly.
And also consider it was just around the right time where the ODM was renewing their 20th anniversary.
Yeah. And also here, unfortunately, Raila loses his life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And people empathize. People also remember the struggle, the fight for democracy, human rights, and all that. This is a hero. This is statesman. Okay. So people from there also started. Raila is still ours. Okay.
Yes.
President Ruto is not this bad, despite the challenges we've had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So finally, we walked into the by-elections. Okay. We were mourning. Okay. We still remember the struggles, Raila's struggles for a better country and all that. And President Ruto was definitely telling Kenyans what Raila stood for as he pushed his first world agenda. Okay. And as I mentioned, President Ruto has actually leverages political loyalty because he has foot soldiers.
For sure.
Deploy them to Malava constituency, right? Deploy them to Mbere constituency. Okay?
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, those were the areas President Ruto really had to save face. Because when you look at Western Kenya, okay, I know there were these other ward level by-elections.
Yes, yes.
But Malava really mattered. And Malava constituency is in Kakamega. So when you look at Kakamega numerically, and perhaps when in 2027 they will have over 1 million registered voters. Okay?
Yeah.
So the opposition had to make a statement in Malava constituency
by
winning that by-election. Right?
Yes.
But did they win? They did not win.
They did not win.
Okay? President Ruto understands that not just President Ruto, but the Kenya Kwanza administration or the broad-based government understood the power of mobilization and talking to people.
Yes.
So they used whatever advantage at their disposal to make sure they win that seat. Okay? And the united opposition on the other side, we still had wrangles and all that. Okay?
Yeah.
And also, I know people will always talk about money and all that money was poured and all that.
There was handouts.
Yeah. So people should always remember this. Even in 2027, we shall still have handouts. Okay?
Of course.
Because the handouts culture in our politics is so deep-rooted. And this culture is definitely perpetuated by the voters themselves or citizens.
The citizens themselves,
okay?
Yeah.
As someone, I remember in 2022, I was to run, but I didn't run. So for some time I campaigned for someone, and we were always on the ground. And the conversation citizens listen to is the conversation about money. Okay?
For sure.
So at some point people wouldn't even want to listen to you. Instead,
to your ideologies and where you're coming from.
People are not keen on that. Okay? Yeah, people are not keen on that. So
it's very true. It's very important that we keep it real. How
yeah.
vitu ziko ground.
So for the protest,
yeah,
people being like disillusioned,
Yeah.
people seeking change. Okay, by that time,
yeah, there was a lot of talk.
yeah,
there's a lot of talk
about change.
There's
But
a lot of
now,
talk.
as you walk
There's a lot-
towards by-elections,
Do they walk the talk?
people do not walk the talk. People do not walk the talk. Okay, the emotions were gone, and the rational way of looking at things was also gone, because were young people available to start talking to people about civic education and all that? They were not available, because ultimately what happened,
There were some, but they were not as comprehensive. The coverage was very minimal.
Because eventually what we had was just the legacy politicians playing their ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay? Because people wanted change, especially young people.
We thought there was going to be a renaissance of young people just now coming out and saying now enough is enough with this.
People were out of these by-elections, and politics became politics, because in most cases, young people, they were coming in as revolutionary
From a radical perspective.
outfit,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So what they were to do was to do away with the legacy politicians. Okay? But their voice became so weak in these by-elections, because where were they? So finally we had just the legacy politicians doing what they do best.
We went back to default settings.
Exactly. Okay?
Yeah.
So President Ruto and his team understand perception is so key, so crucial in politics. Okay? And that's why we had Farouk spending days and nights in Malava constituency.
For sure.
Kindiki also, towards the last time, the last minute, spent days and nights in Beira North.
In Beira North, yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
We also had, CS Ruku, because that was Ruku's seat.
Yes. He was.
Cecily Mbarire.
Yes.
Also, okay. Because these people are now trying, measure up. Okay. For 2027.
Who's going to take this?
Who's going to take it?
Yeah.
Now, let me talk about for Western Kenya. Natembea has been with his Tawe
movement, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So that narrative has been, gaining traction not just in Trans Nzoia but across, Western Kenya. Okay. So DAP, their party now.
Yeah.
Now, Natembea.
Yes.
Eugene Wamalwa.
Yes.
Cleophas Malala. Or generally the united opposition.
Yes.
Had to prove a point.
Yes.
So Natembea, okay, despite being, this key figure in the united opposition, okay, had to prove a point in Malava constituency, okay, by winning. That would have propelled, or that would have
solidified
his
his
Tawe
presence
movement.
even in
Tawe movement.
Yes.
But ultimately what happened? They lost. They lost it. And that goes to tell you that they lost. I know a DCP candidate in a ward level by election. I think is it called Kisa? Okay, they won. And
ward level
there was another one in Kabuchai.
Yes.
There was that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where Wetangula had to prove a point, but entirely what really mattered was the Malava by election.
The constituency level.
Yeah. Because what happened in some ward in Kabuchai is something that is manageable come 2027.
Yes.
What happened in
it is not very the numbers are not very representative.
Yeah, there's this other one, I think it's called Kisa East.
Kisa, yeah.
In Kakamega. Okay, it went to a DCP candidate, but it's manageable even in 2027. Because in 2027, definitely President Ruto and his team will perhaps reach out even to this DCP candidate that won in Kisa. And also there's an independent candidate in a ward in Kabuchai.
Yes.
They will reach out to them and persuade them. And here money will definitely...
exchange hands, for sure.
Exactly. So, and also President Ruto and his team will be going there and say, the United Opposition said they will win and all that. Did they win?
No.
Yes, an argument.
We have the data now.
Yeah, data is available.
Yes.
So for Musalia Mudavadi, Wetangula, the likes of Oparanya, okay, they will also say, Natembea, last time you were chest thumping, okay, but you lost. Remember that?
Yeah,
you lost.
They will use that.
They will use that
Too much.
to build more perception, okay, a perception that favors President Ruto's side.
There are things that they say or they keep saying online and the media keeps reporting, but the ground says very different things.
And when you go to Mbere North, okay, because I've always been saying this, okay, Gachagua is actually in control of Mount Kenya.
That is actually Mount Kenya.
Mount Kenya region.
That is Mount
but
Kenya.
I say this, as much as people talk of Mount Kenya region, people should also look at Mount Kenya East in isolation.
As a chunk of the block.
Exactly. Okay, and I say this: if Gachagua loses the by-election in Mbere North, I understand the DCP candidate was dropped in favor of Muturi's candidate or party. Okay, for unity in the united opposition.
Yes.
But still, all in all, okay, that was still Gachagua's candidate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
in one way or
Gachagua,
another,
who has positioned himself as the kingpin of the region, had to win that seat. So that with that would have given him the perception of total control of the entire region, because that would have given him more energy, more oomph, okay, that you know what, we beat them.
Whatever
in the
comes,
by-election,
I'm
okay?
still here.
Right?
Yeah.
But in this case, what happened? He lost.
Can that be interpreted as fragmentation now of the Mount Kenya block?
Exactly. Where now, Mount Kenya East, we say this: those in Embu, Meru, and Tharaka Nithi, Kindiki is our son. Okay? So as Mount Kenya East, we are rallying behind Kindiki. Okay?
Yeah.
After all, he's our own. He was here. We won even the by-election. Okay?
They can always use that as a reference point.
Yeah. So that will mean over 1 million votes in Mount Kenya East will definitely be at President Ruto's
Up for
leverage.
grabs. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a huge chunk.
Very, yeah.
So meaning Gachagua will be in a better position to consolidate central Kenya. You can talk of, now when you talk of Murang'a, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Nyandarua,
Yes.
Kiambu. Yeah, you can consolidate that. But you will not have like 70% control of Mount Kenya East. So
As
in
was,
this case,
yeah.
okay, it doesn't mean that Gachagua has lost in totality, but the fact remains President Ruto, who was supposed maybe was to get 30% from Mount Kenya East. Right now it has risen perhaps to 60 to 60%.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
going into 2027.
Yeah.
And President Ruto will definitely use that win against Gachagua, who has positioned himself as, you know, the kingpin of that region. He will tell people, you know what, last time they said blah, blah, blah,
The
blah.
last time he said it was kingpin.
But what happened? We won this. And even this 2027, we're going to win. Okay?
But
and
let me get it short and say, and inquire about social media.
Yeah.
You've been following so much about social media.
Yeah, exactly.
And the discourse, even we saw that they now from the by-elections, you saw that the people who are really leveraging on social media, the politicians, even the legacy politicians were leveraging on social media. And on social media, if you were to go just by the numbers on social media, maybe the people who are appearing live on this live broadcasts on the united opposition versus on the government side, the government shields that are being used, they are called 527s, the ones who are paid 527s to continue pushing the propaganda. Is social media to be trusted as a leverage, as a metric of measuring what the political discourse is going to be in 2027? Because we are big on social media.
No. You know, there's one thing you should understand. You know, when you look at social media, especially we've had the spaces on X.
We had a lot of spaces on X.
Who are the people pushing on advancing these conversations? You know, those who are educated, some
The demographics, yeah.
maybe middle class and all that, and for them they rationalize everything. They look at things from these intellectual perspective, from an intellectual perspective. This is how society is. They bring in the aspect of a republic is run this way and that way. Okay,
these ideal scenario that should happen.
Those are people on social media.
Yes.
The educated, the middle class, and all that. Okay, but you should ask yourself, where's the critical mass? Okay, those on social media, they are not like the critical mass. The critical mass, people who can democratically use their power of vote, to shape the destiny of a country.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the critical mass is not majorly on social media. Okay. So you as professors, as doctors, as engineers, you can meet on social media and have some brilliant discussions about running, a republic and all that.
Who should be who is the most favorable candidate on these things?
Yes. Okay. You can commentate on many issues.
All these agendas, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the critical mass, those who do not spend much of their time on social media, those who are always talking about, those who are worried about their next meal
and handouts.
Okay.
Yes.
And handouts. Okay. These are people who are hungry.
Yes.
These are people who are frustrated. Okay. What is their major concern? Their major concern is what to eat. Okay. It's not about a republic should be run this way or that way and all that. So the critical mass, which is not majorly on social media, are the people that this other side understands, like President Ruto and his team. Instead of spending too much time, we can have a few people on social media, but we should be on the ground. And on the ground, people are worried about food. That's why at some point you saw people are given,
500, 200 shillings.
Yeah, some foodstuffs here and there. Because that is what matters at that point. Let me ask.
In that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I told you, if I promise you a better future.
Yeah.
Okay. And here you have an immediate problem. What will you care about more? You'll actually care about the immediate.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even have this 500 bob. I don't even have food. I don't even have cooking oil.
Yeah.
And someone offers
My children are sleeping hungry.
And someone offers you that. And as this person offers you that, you are reminded we are in the government. So as much as we are offering you this, we are building a better future for you. Okay? We are
And
talking about roads.
this is evidence of the better future that we are
Exactly.
building for you.
Okay?
Yeah.
And on this other side, the opposition also did not really think so broadly, so that they take away the conversation from online to the grassroots. Okay? So essentially, social media, we can't disregard it. It is important. It has people who are intelligent and all that, people who can push an agenda, try to set a conversation or put the country on a certain trajectory to discuss certain issues and all that. But now the numbers are not that much.
I think let me give a counterpoint to that.
Yeah.
And let us look at the mobilization that has been taking place on social media.
Yeah.
We had the Kaluma boy in Nyeri.
Yeah.
I don't know why so many of them are located in Nyeri, but let us do that.
Yeah.
There was Kaluma boy in Nyeri.
Yeah.
There was another woman also in Nyeri. I don't remember. I don't.
And majorly on TikTok.
On TikTok.
Yeah.
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 And very recently,
Yeah.
we had Trufena Muthoni,
Yeah.
who also mobilized masses
Yeah.
to go and support. And also very congratulations to Trufena Muthoni
Yeah.
on breaking that world record and setting that world record. But all these things were done in on social media, on TikTok.
Yeah.
We also had, before you forget, we had TikTok mobilizing for the TikTok hospital
Yes.
TikTok hospital.
Yes.
And now people are starting thinking of TikTok school, TikTok, you know, all these things. The discourse is different on X.
Yeah.
Now, how come that when it comes to all these courses,
Yeah.
which had significant success
Yeah.
in Nyeri County, mobilized by TikTok,
Yeah.
where is the disconnect between mobilization of all these people to come together to do a very great thing and the mobilization of the same Kenyans to vote on better leaders?
Yeah.
What happens? What happens?
You have to look at it this way. When you talk about the Kaluma boy, that was a social issue.
Yeah.
Okay?
True.
But now here we have an issue of politics. Okay? Where everyone has to look at it differently. Okay?
Is in politics social? Are we interpreting political social?
Yeah. So politics. Okay, you can also, there's a social aspect in that as well. But you see, when you look at the cases you've mentioned.
Yes.
Okay? Yes. Sometimes people put politics aside. People put politics aside because there's something that excites us. It arouses our curiosity. Okay.
Yes.
And also when the issue of Kaluma boy and all that, father being bedridden and all that, needing medical assistance and all that, so that was something that would put people in this situation where they put aside
the political differences aside.
The political differences aside. Okay. They will not say, oh, for you support so and so. Okay. Yeah. So for that, people can always come together.
Yes.
Okay, and put the political affiliations aside. Okay. So for that, mobilization happens so easily. Yeah, because politics to some extent sort of are divisive. People aside because we have different interests and all that. Okay. So when it's a social issue, okay, people
are no longer galvanized.
Yeah, even in developed societies and all that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let me give you an example. There was so unfortunately Charlie Kirk. Okay.
Charlie Kirk, yeah.
Yeah,
the late Charlie Kirk,
commentator,
yes,
and all that.
Yes.
When what happened to him happened, you saw Republicans, Democrats condemning that.
We come together,
yeah. Because that was an issue that even if you're a Democrat, when there's
it cuts across, it's bipartisan.
Yeah, we may have differences and all that. So during that time, we put aside our differences, okay, and start now facing an issue. This is a national issue, okay. It's not about this political party or that political party.
Yeah.
So even when you come back home here, the issue of maybe the Kaluma boy and all that, Trifena and all that, okay. Those are issues that bring us together because as much as we have political differences, we don't lose our nationhood. Okay.
It's very good that you mentioned nationalism because I wanted to go on that and say we had yesterday was Jamhuri Day.
Exactly.
Nationalism.
Yeah.
Where did our nationalism go? Shouldn't we be rallying around causes like patriotism, nationalism, to make sure that even the people that we put in these positions of power maybe carry the same ethos of nationalism?
Yeah, that is it. That is it.
How did the opposition not capitalize on ethos such as nationalism?
No, the opposition did not push that because the opposition was, as I mentioned earlier, I am not a government apologist.
We are looking at data here. Okay. Imagine Nairobi show.
But I am saying this. The opposition did not go to people with issues or with the solutions. But the opposition went to the people just with the criticism only, okay? And they were riding on a wave.
That was also subsiding.
Yeah. And within the opposition outfit, we also have people deriving narratives that are definitely divisive.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you look at it that way, then you ask yourself a simple question: between the united opposition and government, where is the difference, for instance? Because the united opposition was to sort of like cut out itself
Yes.
as a unit. Okay.
Yes.
Like we are different than
We should have differentiated
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah. We are different than these people. We are not them. We are different, and we have a different vision. And this is our vision. Okay. So when it comes to politics, you'd realize that people sort of like, okay, now we have President Ruto here saying this, we have Gachagua saying this. Okay. But when it comes to a social issue, we have President Ruto and Gachagua like
Coming
speaking
together
the same
in
language.
the same voice. For sure.
Okay?
For sure.
Because there's
For
no
sure.
there's no competition.
Okay.
But politics, it's a game. There is competition. And where there is competition, it becomes I persuade or use whatever strategy I can use to win. Okay? So that's why you'll find that people cannot just unite and say this is the cause we are pursuing as a people. Okay? So in most cases, when there is such kind of occurrence, okay, where now patriotism is demanded that much.
2002, that happened.
Yeah. Okay. There was people waking up. Okay.
Yes.
So when
There was a new awakening. Yeah.
Yeah, people come together, and in most cases, people put aside their differences. Okay.
Yes.
But now, when it comes to what is happening today, if I asked you, what is that thing that really pushes Kenyans to start thinking about now, let's come together for change, to bring change?
I wouldn't have an answer for you because so far it's been a battle of personalities and savior syndromes, whereby we are now banking all our eggs. We are now placing all our eggs in the hands of one savior, but not an idea, like you said.
Yeah.
An idea that cuts across the both political divides.
Yeah. So because right, if you asked, for instance, for the opposition, what do they want to change? The united opposition.
I don't know.
Okay. On the side of government, what do they want to change?
They want to
Ruto is pushing a narrative.
Yes.
I want to transform Kenya.
It is a reactionary narrative depending on what the opposition is advocating against.
Now, for the united opposition, as President Ruto talks about first world, okay?
Yes.
What is the opposition talking about?
Which was in
That is
retribution.
impossible.
Which was in retribution to the high taxations that the Kenyans were crying about. So he said, okay, we are going to do this. We are going to have this WANTAM dialogue to justify the high amount of taxes that are being leveraged on Kenyans.
You know, there's reality. By the way, there's reality that Kenyans should always face.
Yes.
When we talk about the issue of public debt,
Yes.
you cannot run away from that.
For sure.
Cannot run away from that.
Aren't there other ways of getting solving these public debts? Besides overtaxation, because taxation currently is
there's the issue
crippling.
of broadening the tax bracket, where you bring in more people,
Yes.
into this bracket,
Yeah.
so that more people can pay taxes rather than overtaxing just those in the formal employment.
Yes,
Okay?
yes. You cannot tax a government to prosperity.
Exactly.
A country to prosperity.
But also, if you also have to be very honest, okay, only 3 million Kenyans, those in formal employment, that are taxed, okay?
Overtax, yeah.
Or overtaxed.
Yeah.
And also, the government has been talking of, let's bring in more people, okay? That's why you can see the issue of e-teams and all that, where they're saying, if you supplied, okay, just back in the village there, you planted your maize and you're selling to school.
Yes.
You must be invoiced, okay?
Yes.
You must pay taxes. You see people complaining.
Yes.
Because there is a move to sort of like formalize our business. You get that? So that more people can pay taxes, okay?
Yeah.
Because we cannot run away from our public debt. We
For sure.
just have to.
That is our responsibility as a
We
nation.
have that responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you look at it that way, you realize that there's a problem, So when the opposition talks about we are being overtaxed and all that, and the government also says, we are doing that because
So
we
you want
have
to
a
go to
huge
first
public-
class.
public
First,
debt,
yes.
and at the same time we have to develop.
Yes.
Because we are doing these things simultaneously,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. We have to develop. We also have an obligation, okay, to pay or to service our loans, okay? So the opposition could be, if the opposition, I know they still have time.
Yeah.
If the opposition could be building this argument, saying, now for us, and in fact it is still the right time for us. This is how we are going to address the issue of public debt, okay? This is how we are going to handle the issue of taxation in the country, okay? But they're not pushing that kind of debate or agenda. So in this case, what happens is, President Ruto has mentioned it many times that people, as much as we need to develop, we need to do ABCD, we should also accept the reality that we have a huge public debt. And this debt is not just what I borrowed, it's also what other previous governments borrowed. So even if we are facing challenges, the challenges we are facing today, they did not just originate from me, okay?
Yeah.
There was
There
some
was an
government back-
accumulation of
Yeah.
the previous governments.
Yeah. And previously, I was a deputy president.
Yes.
But you see, as a deputy president,
They have no much say in.
yes, and even those who right now are in the united opposition or on this other side,
Yes.
were definitely in the previous government.
For sure.
Okay?
Yes. So they have no moral grounds to criticize with the government
Yeah.
that they were in.
Yeah. So for me, I'm looking at it this way, okay? As
Yeah.
president, okay?
Yes.
This is the reality we have. We have a huge public debt, okay? So for us to continue with more development, what do we have to do? We have two options: to continue over borrowing, all that, or we have to privatize or denationalize some of our assets to raise money. We also have to bring in, the issue of private-public partnership.
PPP partnerships, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because we also have to at least to give some primacy to issues around bonds and treasury bills and all that.
Aren't these what you call knee-jerk reactions? Because now the place of youth,
Yeah.
we are now just looking at how if we're going to pay this debt tomorrow, we must also think about the future of the nation. Who are the youth? Which is the youth? Now, how does all these maybe directions, economic directions that we are taking,
Like
the
introduction of
political,
PPP and all that.
the political dialogue or discourse as a consequence of the maybe the economic directions that we are taking now.
Yeah.
How does it affect the youth? Does it create an environment where the youth are locked out of the national political discourse,
Yeah.
especially if the environment does not favor any other discourse besides economic like handouts and all these kinds of politics? Doesn't it lock out the youth from even access these positions to change?
This is what the youth. I'm also a youth.
Yeah.
This is what people should always understand. Power is never given, and nobody will create favorable environment for you to bring change. You definitely have to fight for that position.
Yes.
So that you fight for that platform.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for young people to always continue, actually, the many problems young people are facing, we also face. I'm also a young person.
Yes.
Who is also looking for opportunities.
Yes.
To thrive and all that.
Yes.
Who sometimes I'm also one of those who have at some point missed out on an opportunity.
You're vulnerable to handouts as a youth.
But on principle, I wouldn't take a handout from someone. Okay?
Okay.
On principle, I understand what I am supposed to do to make change.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So for young people, for instance, the by-election we had,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
they allowed themselves to be locked out.
For sure.
So even for the economic direction the country is taking,
Yes.
young people are likely to be locked out.
Yeah, for a long time.
Because, you know, usually we say that information is power,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And ask yourself a simple question. What are Kenyans consuming, especially young people, online? Now, as a journalist who at least has done some audience analysis, so that
Yes.
I'm able
You
to
are always on the
understand
ground.
what people consume.
All consume a lot.
Okay.
Even looking at the views, the number of views, total views on these
Kenyans
videos.
don't want to consume or to understand serious issues,
Yes.
issues that really matter. Now that brings a difference between maybe the American
Yeah.
Gen Z or
Gen
young
Z,
people
yeah.
and the Kenyan
The
young people.
Nepal Gen Z,
Okay.
the Pakistan Gen Z, the Indonesian Gen Z.
Let me say this.
Yes.
This is my observation.
Yeah.
If you talk about the United States,
Yeah.
the commentators, people who are discussing issues around, you know, cost of
Governance
living,
and,
governance, they're actually
economics.
young people.
They are younger people.
They are commentators.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I know someone by the name, there's someone called Wither
Yes.
Deans. We also have Harry Season.
Yes.
These are young Americans.
Very young voices.
Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, we also have another one, Brian Tyler Cohen.
Yes.
You know, the discussions they hold.
Yeah.
And you'll find so many young people seeking opportunities, even on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, to comment on an issue, to share their opinions. But now, if you're online, for instance, especially if you go to TikTok where we have so many young people,
Yes.
the conversation that will attract so many young Kenyans, it's that conversation about sex, dating, relationships, where ladies are saying, for you, if you want to have me, you must have money. Now, people are now discussing, a man must have money, okay?
Yes.
To be with me. Those are the discussions that are mainstream.
And vice versa is true. Yeah.
Those are the discussions that are dominating social media. But now bring up a discussion on something like PPP, public debt, because, you know, for those other young people in those other societies, they're looking at the future.
Yes.
Okay, that whatever decision the government is making today will definitely affect
their tomorrow.
Affect me as a man, as a woman, because as a guy living in this society,
Yes.
I definitely,
As a youth, yeah.
I'm supposed to thrive so that I am in a better position even to have a family.
For sure.
It's not about judgment. I remember someone telling me, do you know that it is in Kenya that a woman or ladies will judge you for maybe being broke and all that? But in other societies, a lady you meet will not judge you because you're broke. Okay? They also feel they have a responsibility to make things better so that
And contribute to the...
so that you are all involved in shaping the economic direction a country will take. So meaning moving forward, if the Kenyan youth do not want to be locked
out, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
then they must participate in conversations or in discourses that matter. Okay, when we talk about, for instance, the president saying we are going the PPP way. Okay?
The youth should be on the forefront on debating all this.
That's why I said PPP. It's a concept, PPP, tolling of roads. These are concepts that Kenyans are not used to. But now moving forward, we shall be tolling. But are people discussing what are the advantages of these? Okay?
For sure.
How, in the future, how will it affect our ability to create wealth for ourselves? People are not having those discussions. Also, when we talk about public debt, people are not having conversations. Okay? Also, when we talk about corruption, okay, how people are not discussing that. As also, maybe just to extend my opinion or my view on this, you know, Kenya is a unitary government.
Yes.
Where we have the national government and we have the devolved system,
yeah,
the developed units. Okay. So are Kenyans also holding their governors accountable
from the MCAs to the...
Yeah, because every year, every financial year, resources also go to counties.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
For instance, when you look at health, it is devolved.
Yes.
Are Kenyans asking their governors
the right questions?
the right questions, holding them accountable as well, because those are mini presidents. Those are small presidents.
I think
okay?
this is where you're going to say, Akomba, we have to come back to Bwana Owen Benjamin.
Yeah.
I think we have to cover session 2.
Yeah.
Because this is clearly
Yeah.
The discourse about what the young people and locking themselves out from the discourse that they choose to partake in.
Yeah, they're locking
this
themselves
is
out.
Something that we
Yeah.
need to dive and delve deeper into.
Exactly.
I'd like to thank you very much for coming to our show. Yeah. Na maybe the parting shot that nini ungetaka kuambia the Imagine Nairobi viewer, the youth. This is a youth-centered show.
Yeah.
What would you like to tell the youth?
I am still a youth, but I always understand these opportunities are never given. Be it a political opportunity, an economic opportunity, those opportunities are never given. So for young people, you must participate. If it is when it comes to issues around economy, you must participate. Politics, you must participate. But in all that, you should remember this. When you consume what doesn't really matter, you will focus on what doesn't really matter. But when you consume what really matters, like things that we're going into a general election, if you'll continue with conversations around cheating, sex, dating, those conversations matter, and leave out issues that really matter. Public debt, governance, our public resources, because you need opportunities, you need a job, you need a favorable business environment to do business.
You need favorable economic opportunities to date.
So what goes into your mind is definitely what will shape how you look at issues. So if you continue consuming what is important or focus on issues that matter, definitely we shall be in a position perhaps to transform Kenya.
Asanteni sana. That was a very spirited debate between Senator here and our journalist. Very great for you, Owen Benjamin. Asante sana. And we hope that the viewer, Imagine Nairobi viewer, has really benefited from this discourse. Asanteni sana, and we are surely going to see you in the next one. Owen Benjamin, what are your YouTube handles, your social media?
Yeah, we have Owen Raw Podcast.
Owen Raw Podcast. Please follow and subscribe and give all these views.
Owen Raw Podcast.
Owen
Raw Podcast. RAW.
Owen Raw Podcast. Yes.
There is an episode coming. Please make sure you watch.
Karibuni sana. Give a very great interactions pale kwa Owen Raw Podcast on social medias and all these other places. Do not forget to subscribe to Kelele Digital right there, and also keep following our pages. Asante sana. See you in the next one.